You'll know this one.
Okay.
The power of love is a curious thing. Makes one man weep, makes another man sing. Change a hawk to a little white dove. Can you feel it? That is it.
That's a tune.
Yeah.
Just reminds me of Back to the Future, though.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Those opening scenes with him riding around on his skateboard, hanging onto the backs of cars. Do you know what? I tried to emulate that. Obviously, being a kid when that came out in the 80s, who was big into skateboarding.
Yeah.
I persuaded. We used to have a milkman. This is how old I am. We had a milkman who drove an electric milk float delivering all the milk.
Yeah.
And I persuaded him that it would be perfectly safe for me to hang onto the back of his milk float as he went down the street.
In your life preserver.
I think I did have a body warmer.
Yeah, I used to try and replicate Marty McFly.
Yep.
And then he did, because of course he plays a version of that for the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, doesn't he?
He does, and it's
or whatever it is.
The judge is Huey Lewis.
Is it?
Yeah, the guy in the glasses that says, "I'm afraid you're too damn loud." That's Huey Lewis.
No, it's not.
It is. Watch it again.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
Huey Lewis in a tweed jacket.
And there's some outtakes, isn't there? Where because he actually plays that guitar line.
He's learning. No, he mimes it in the filming, but he wanted to mime it accurately.
Right.
So he's talking to the guy, and the guy's saying, "No, you need to be here, not there."
Right.
So he mimes it very accurately.
Yeah. Good solo.
Good
solo. Plays with Coldplay as well, didn't he? Last year at Glastonbury.
He did. That was a little bit less energetic.
Yeah,
he was in a
little bit. So it was a bit tragic because obviously he's poor chap's in a wheelchair, isn't he now? And apparently it was wheeled him onto this sort of big applause, but he was just sort of then just wheeled off again. It's a bit.
He's a legend, though, isn't he?
Oh God, he's absolutely amazing. Yeah, those films. I mean, Back to the Future 2 was my favourite.
Yeah, I think it probably was mine when it came out. Definitely. Well, he was just in everything because in the space of about a year, he did Back to the Future, he did Teen Wolf,
Oh.
which apparently he shot first, but it didn't come out till after.
Yeah. On top of the van, on top of who was his mate? Who was his cool mate? Styles, yeah, on top of the van.
Yeah. What was the other one he did? He did
Wolf Out.
That's it. It was another one he did where he played was it Bright Lights Big City? Was that?
No, I don't know that one.
There was a whole bunch of films he did. And then he did a really serious film, didn't he? He did a war film. It was a bit like Platoon kind of vibe.
Did he?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called now. But it was it was amazing.
You know, Christopher Lloyd was younger than me when he shot that. I think he was about 40 when he played Emmett Brown with his big white... I've got a bit of the old frosting
I read
on
that recently, yeah. He was really young, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then they had to make him up to look old. And then there was the scene where he'd been to the future and come back again, and he'd had work done to make him look younger. And they just took the makeup off. And apparently they wrote that in because the makeup was so difficult to do. Oh, that's clever.
Roads where we're going, we don't need roads.
And did you genuinely think that by now we'd be having flying cars and all that? Because it was 2015, wasn't it, the future?
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, Dr. Fusion. I don't know if I thought we'd have... I don't know. I never really thought about it. The thing, I remember the hologram shark. You know, because we sort of got that now, but high def.
I mean, that looks shit now, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's all pixelated.
Yeah,
it's like 8-bit. But yeah, hoverboards. They did the shoes. Nike did the boots, didn't they?
Yeah, Air Mags. Yeah, you can buy. They're like insane money.
Yeah.
I'd kill for a pair
They'd
of those.
do themselves up or something.
Yeah,
they don't look dissimilar to those.
Power
actually.
laces. No, they're not far off. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the reason why we're stuck wearing
Nikes.
Wearing Nikes all the time. Yeah, it's just sunk into the psyche.
Imagine having a proper job and having to wear shoes.
I mean, that just wouldn't fly for me whatsoever. I bought one pair of proper shoes in the last 30 years, and I wore them to a few weddings and funerals, and then they wore out.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that. And I'll probably have to buy some more because my son's getting married next year.
Yeah.
But
you're not going to wear shoes. Not out of choice. You only wore those other ones because somebody told you had to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's going to tell you that now.
Maybe not. No, that's true.
No. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Moving on.
Yep.
Should we look at the plugin?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. This one.
Your printer needs its firmware updating.
It says that all the time.
Well, maybe we should update the firmware.
I can't be bothered. What's it going to do?
Yeah.
What extra facilities is my printer going to magically have when I update the firmware? It's still going to print. It's not going to start making cups of tea.
Well,
if it does, maybe it's worth it.
Yeah. Okay, point taken. Well, that looks very fancy.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This one was one from the comments.
Yep.
And a company who I've come across before because they make soft synths. I don't know how you pronounce it. It looks like or Yuhi.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's...
I would go... Yeah. Who do you work for? I work for... I think it's probably Yuhi.
Yuhi or Yuhe. Whatever. We don't know. U-H-E.
Yeah.
We'll say Yuhi for now. And it's the Presswerk. Work spelt the German way with an E. And it's a dynamics processor. And as you can see from the GUI, this thing has got everything going on. It's got digital VUs, it's got analog style VUs, it's got a compression graph, it's got all the usual compression controls, but it's also got very expanded sidechain controls. It's got saturation. It's got so many different things going on. You're like, that's a bit overwhelming as a compressor. But it has 6 extra modes on top of this basic or standard screen. It has 6 extra modes, which if you go into this little top LCD bit here, and it's set to initial view, you can change that. And there's a bunch of others. And there's one called Easy Comp, and the Easy Comp is basically just a very easy to use compressor. So it's just giving you threshold, ratio, you release, which they call response, and output. So simple compression.
Do those controls still manipulate the same? They do.
So so the other controls are set in the background, but this is giving you some simple to use controls. Yeah. There's a vocal version, which is slightly different. You've got input, ratio, response, output, DS, and an enhancer. Cool. That is cool. What else have we got? We've got the program compressor, which, you could use that for a bus maybe. And you've got slightly simplified controls. So you've got input, compression, response, output, mid-side. And I think mid-side is
God, you're going to be busy in the edit for this, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. Screenshots for days. But this touch link in the middle, you can link the parameters or not, which is kind of good for mid-side. There's a drum comp version. I mean, I'm flicking through them here like crazy. There you go. There's the drum one. So it's got slightly more things. It's got saturation control and a soft clip and a mix and a side chain high pass and all the rest of it. What else have we got? There's the bus comp. And there's also a limiter. And you fire up the limiter and it's basically set to limit, and you've got a gain reduction VU thing in the middle. It's got the saturation. So this thing is...
It's quite cool, the different approach, isn't it, they've taken. So you've got all of these different controls, but then it does these other...
And you can always
jobs.
click this little home button up here and go back to the main screen. Yeah. Tweak it, come back again. I really like it. I think that's a very clever way of doing things. And it could be the one compressor that you use for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Which brings us on to how does it sound? It sounds pretty damn good.
Does it?
Yeah, it's one of those immediately... So much about a plug-in compressor is how responsive and true to life the meters are on it. It's very difficult sometimes to set up a compressor without accurate metering, so I really like it on this. I just like the tweakability. Once you get... You've gone there again, haven't you? No one wants to tweak that. Them, sorry. Hey, you got another one now?
Yeah, and you're mistaken. Yeah, actually, there's a few people that would like a little tweakeroony.
Okay, not me.
No. Weirdo.
I thought you were running mono. All those rumours weren't true.
No.
Surround sound,
Mid, side.
You got too much in the sides.
Yeah.
Quite a lot in the mid, to be fair.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. The mid's an expander.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, anyway, there is a demo which you can go and download from Yuhi, and it's one of those demos that just lasts as long as you want it to last, but it does play like a static noise like you'd hear from a piece of vinyl every now and again, which is a little bit annoying. Means you can't really bounce something out.
Does it save?
Do you know, I don't know, but it does the static thing, but there isn't a time limit on it, so you can have a good old mess around, see whether you like it.
Very cool, very cool. So there's no set time on the demo. So the next question is,
yes,
how much does it cost?
Well, this. I think this is quite a tricky price they've put it at. It's €129, which, on the plus side, you've got a drum bus compressor. You've got, instrument bus compressor, you've got a vocal compressor, a drum, you've got a limiter. It will do all the different flavours of compression.
Yeah.
However, you might think, yeah, but I want to go and get an SSL bus compressor, and I want to go and get a DBX.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult one. €129 is good for that amount of flexibility, and it sounds great.
It's from Yuhi, from their site.
From Yuhi, from their site, yeah. So it's a difficult one to judge the price, but I think, if everyone who's starting to buy third-party plugins has a bunch of compressors in their door, this could be a good first one, because you do get so much for your money.
You do, again, not that we know much or anything about the selling and resale of plugins, but you do wonder if they'd have bought that in at 89, 99 pounds, euros, whatever.
Yep.
Whether they'd sell more licenses.
Who knows? Who knows?
Whether just going that extra 30 euros is just
possibly
turn people off.
Possibly. Very possibly. Yeah. I mean, it's I've got to stress, it is very, very detailed. You can flick it between feedback and feed forward. It's so clever in the amount of change you can do in the knee settings, in the side chain settings, and the saturation. It does do a lot.
Yeah.
It is not a simple compressor that has different interfaces depending on what you're doing with it. There is a lot going on behind it. So, tricky one.
Well, I like it. So, Sean, have we done that?
We haven't.
No. The Yuhi Presswerk.
Yes.
Is it shit?
No, I don't think it is. I think it's really, really very good. I worry that the price, for people like you that have that cut off, I ain't paying more than 100. I understand that. Yeah. But I think, keep an eye on the website. Maybe it'll be in a sale at some point.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that you can see how detailed it is. And again, we talk about these plugins that you buy for projects.
Yeah.
And it's, I can see where the value is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it sounds great. I think it's, I'd be happy to use it as the only compressor in the mix, definitely.
Good stuff. Okay, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And maybe become a channel member. We also have an Instagram, which is Studio Life 101, and there's a Patreon and a merch store.
We've got a top 5. Sean does some very informative courses on mixering and mastering. Yeah, mixering and mastering. And some shorter courses and what have you. Anyway, there's loads of links down there, so please go and have a look. Until next time, sayonara, suckers.
Adios.